Nerves on show from Parliament's newest MP as she waited for her leader's arrival. Elected by a narrow margin and already facing uncomfortable questions.
We need to find a deal that protects workers, protects the living standards of the people that live here, also our environment and on consumer protection.
So no second referendum for you?
I have no idea what's going to happen in Parliament.
But when the Labour leader arrived, the focus was on one thing: embracing the victory. A victory won by fewer than 700 votes. A victory that saw the party lose a third of the support it received in 2017, but a victory nonetheless.
Right Labour off at your peril!
Since the punishing European election results, Mr Corbyn has come under significant pressure to fully embrace a second referendum. But the Peterborough result seems to have put paid to that.
I think it would be much better if there was actually a general election, because we have a government with no majority.
If you get the general election you're looking for, is your Brexit policy that you will renegotiate a deal along the lines that you have set out and then campaign for Brexit? That is going to be Labour's general election policy.
I'm not going to predict what's going to be Labour's general election.
You're the leader.
But I'm not a dictator.
Oh, God.
These Labour activists campaigned hard on the doorsteps to mobilise voters, and they back Mr Corbyn's approach.
His stance on Brexit is the correct one. It's not as polarised as people like to say. You can't just be full Remain or full Leave. There has to be some balance if you're going to address the concerns of the nation.
But they're under no illusions about how close things were.
It's been a really difficult kind of situation and a really difficult kind of election to fight.
The Brexit Party had been favourites to win in Peterborough. An impromptu photo call this afternoon in Downing Street, perhaps an attempt to shift focus from that fact. But Nigel Farage is insistent there is more to come.
The only thing we failed to do was to persuade enough Conservative voters that by voting Conservative, they got Labour. By voting Conservative, they got a non-Brexiteer to be elected. And that's, that's going to take people some time to understand that there are parts of the country where the Brexit Party is the only challenger to Labour.
And it's that prospect which makes the result in Peterborough so important.
Perhaps the most significant impact of the by-election here will be on the Conservative leadership contest. The contenders have wasted no time in pointing to the pitiful performance of the party here and using it to justify their own proposed Brexit strategies.
How can you win back places like Peterborough, Mr Gove?
There is one point on which the vast majority of Tory candidates agree.
I think the result reminds us of two things: the vital importance of delivering Brexit and also the vital importance of making sure that we have a strong Conservative government that can prevent Jeremy Corbyn getting into Downing Street and ruining this country.
Can you beat Boris Johnson?
Where they differ is the question of whether leaving without a deal is the only way to avoid that scenario, or the thing most likely to bring it about. It was a narrow win for Labour, but one that puts the Conservatives' Brexit conundrum into stark relief. And Jeremy Corbyn will take that. Tom Rayner, Sky News, Peterborough.